My name is Theresa Pasqual, and I come from the Pueblo of Acoma. The dish I made is green chili stew with squash and corn. This stew, I didn't learn from a recipe per se. I would say a culmination of being in the kitchen with different relatives and watching them prepare food in the kitchen and learning their different techniques that made a really good stew. Listening to our family sitting down at the table, they would say, "Oh, the chili is just right, it's just hot enough." Or they'll say, "This stew is really good because it's thick." And you start to figure out what are the components that make a good stew. And I think when I first started to cook, when I would take stews over to a family gathering, then it was the feedback, I guess, criticism that you hear from your aunties that would say, next time you make that stew, don't add too much water. Cut your meat a little bit smaller. Add a little bit more salt. So just doing it over and over again, finally you get to the point where they say, "That's a really good stew." So you make it really well, and then people look forward to eating your food. The salt that we use today is what I call Indian salt. In our Acoma language, we say minna. It's not something that you can just walk out the door and get. It has to be gathered with a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting, a lot of sacrifice. And that salt is not table salt. It's gathered at a special place by special people. And only those people that can collect it are the ones that make a journey to this place to collect it and gather it and bring it back to our community. And those people then are charged with distributing that to the individual homes. And then within those homes, the ladies that are cooks then get a portion of that distribution. Last night, what I did was I prepared the green chili that we used in the stew by roasting it. And then when we came into the kitchen, then we peeled it and we seeded it and then chopped it up and put it into the stew. The act of cooking for someone becomes a spiritual act of not only providing a meal, but providing perhaps a healing, perhaps good intentions, good wishes for someone, which is why when I was taught to cook, be happy when you cook. Don't be sad, don't be angry when you cook, because you put those emotions into the food that you prepare. A lot of advice was given to us as children while we were eating, and it was the thought that you ingest the words of wisdom, the advice, the caution, the prayers, the intentions of whoever it is that is advising you. So oftentimes they'll tell parents, if you want your children to specifically understand certain things and to take those instructions in, that you should often do it while you're feeding your children. So from birth to death, and perhaps even beyond, there are things that have to do with food.